One of the greatest scientific missions of modern times has taken a giant leap forward today with the launch at lunchtime of the James Webb Space Telescope. A $10 billion project has taken 30 years to reach this moment.
The world first learned about 3I/ATLAS as a distant blur beyond Neptune, a faint interstellar traveler whose trajectory promised nothing more than a brief cosmic hello. But everything changed when the James Webb Space Telescope captured something no one could have predicted. It wasn't the brightness or the speed that shocked scientists. It was the unmistakable evidence that 3I/ATLAS had changed course, and its new heading straight toward Earth. In the quiet early hours at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, the alert came through the data feed. Webb's deep space sensors had recorded a subtle but undeniable shift in the object's movement. The numbers didn't lie. A deviation of less than 0.1 degrees at interstellar speeds meant a completely new trajectory, one impossible for natural physics to explain. 3I/ATLAS, named after the ATLAS survey that first spotted it, had always been an enigma. Like Oumuamua before it, it came from beyond our solar system, fast, cold, silent. But while Oumuamua had merely passed by, 3I/ATLAS seemed to be watching. Its unusual reflective surface, changing albedo, and steady deceleration had already raised eyebrows. Now, that curiosity had turned into fear. Dr. Elaine Norwood, an astrophysicist at NASA, was among the first to confirm the data. Her voice trembled as she addressed the live feed to the International Science Board. Objects of this scale don't alter their course unless acted upon, and there's nothing, absolutely nothing, in that region of space that could cause this naturally. Thousands of miles away at China's Purple Mountain Observatory, Dr. Huang Li and her team confirmed the same anomaly. Their deep space radar arrays registered a coordinated deceleration consistent with controlled thrust. "It's as if it's steering," she whispered. The words sent chills through the control room. Within hours, NASA, ESA, and CNSA convened an emergency tri-agency meeting. The data was cross-verified using the Webb's infrared, Hubble's optical, and ground-based observations from Chile's Cerro Paranal Observatory. The verdict was unanimous. 3I/ATLAS was no longer a drifting rock. It was a moving target. The implications were enormous. For the first time in recorded history, humanity faced an object from beyond the stars that appeared to be reacting, adjusting its behavior, as if it possessed awareness or intent. The world's top physicists refused to call it alien, but they couldn't call it natural either. As the hours turned into days, new information emerged. The James Webb's high-resolution infrared scans revealed something stunning: patterns, repetitive geometric alignments embedded beneath the object's icy crust. They weren't random fractures. They formed symmetrical lines, straight angles, lattice-like formations resembling structural design. SETI's listening stations immediately pivoted all arrays toward the object, scanning the radio spectrum for any sign of communication. What they found wasn't a voice, but a rhythm, a series of low-frequency pulses repeating at exact intervals, too regular to be cosmic noise. Dr. Matteo Ricci at the European Space Agency's Signal Analysis Division noticed a peculiar modulation. "It's not a natural echo, it's a pattern of intent, almost like code," he said, his face pale as he watched the waveforms repeat. Meanwhile, China's space agency released its own set of enhanced images. The object wasn't smooth. Beneath its crust, sharp-edged formations radiated in uniform direction. It was as if something mechanical lurked within, concealed under kilometers of ice and rock. Then came the leak. A whistleblower from NASA's Propulsion lab released classified data showing that the object had reduced its speed by nearly 12% over 2 weeks. That kind of controlled deceleration was beyond the laws of inertial motion. It wasn't tumbling like a rock, it was maneuvering. Panic spread across social media. Hashtags like #AtlasApproach and #AlienVessel trended worldwide. Some claimed it was an alien ship, others believed it was a fragment of ancient technology returning home. Governments urged calm, but even the White House press secretary struggled to hide the urgency behind her measured words. Inside the Pentagon, a classified task force known as Sigma 7 convened. Their directive: prepare contingency plans for both impact and contact. Leaked documents later showed that the object's new trajectory intersected Earth's orbit within 0.03 astronomical units, dangerously close. Meanwhile, independent astronomers confirmed what NASA had tried to keep quiet. The course change wasn't accidental. It was directed, precise, like a spacecraft using gravitational slingshot maneuvers to position itself. The math matched no known propulsion system. Speculation about the object's origin began to swirl. Some researchers suggested it used dark energy propulsion, manipulating space-time curvature to move. Others suspected gravitational lensing as a propulsion mechanism, something humanity had never achieved. And then, out of nowhere, came a startling connection. A group of historians and archaeologists pointed out that ancient Sumerian tablets described a sky stone that descended from the heavens, bearing the mark of the Anunnaki, the same direction in the sky from which 3I/ATLAS originated. In Iraq, where excavations had uncovered the supposed tomb of Gilgamesh and genetic evidence linked to the mythic gods, scientists began to draw eerie parallels. The inscriptions spoke of a return of the Watchers from the region of the stars known today as Lyra, precisely where 3I/ATLAS had entered our system. Coincidence or not, the public fascination grew uncontrollable. Conspiracy channels declared 3I/ATLAS was the Ark of the Gods, returning to judge or awaken humanity. Religious leaders called for prayer. Governments moved to suppress disinformation, but the truth was spreading faster than they could control. The James Webb Telescope continued its relentless surveillance. One evening, its thermal sensors detected movement, heat signatures pulsing from within the object. Scientists stared in disbelief. It was as though something inside had activated. Signal analysts confirmed the pulse pattern had changed. What once was random was now rhythmic, deliberate. The intervals corresponded to prime numbers, universally considered a sign of intelligence in SETI research. Humanity was being spoken to, or observed. As global observatories tuned in, the signal intensified. And then, something unprecedented happened. The pulse frequency synchronized with Earth's magnetic field. Planetary magnetometers picked up matching oscillations. The object wasn't just moving toward Earth, it was communicating with it. Dr. Norwood described the moment. It's aligning with us. Every pulse it sends is timed to our magnetic heartbeat. It's learning. Her voice cracked as she realized what that implied. Mathematical decoding began. AI systems across NASA, CERN, and Beijing attempted to translate the signal. It wasn't language in the human sense. It was geometry, ratios, fractal sequences that described physical constants of the universe, pi, e, and the speed of light. It was sending a message of mathematics, the universal tongue. Then came the projection models. If 3I/ATLAS maintained its velocity and angle, it would reach Earth's orbital path within 186 days. That meant one thing. By late next spring, it would pass close enough to be visible to the naked eye. In anticipation, world leaders formed Plan Aurora, a unified strategy combining communication, planetary defense, and observation. Secretly, it included potential strike contingencies using nuclear-tipped interceptors, though few believed such measures would even work. As Webb's images grew clearer, new phenomena emerged. Behind 3I/ATLAS trailed thin, luminous filaments, streams of plasma that bent in ways magnetic fields shouldn't. The trails looked like exhaust, but their behavior defied physics. Private space companies joined the effort. SpaceX, Blue Origin, and the Chinese Long March Consortium launched emergency satellites to triangulate its position. Every hour, the data grew stranger. The object was now matching Earth's orbital speed, positioning itself in parallel motion. Then, on a quiet Tuesday morning, the James Webb Telescope recorded a burst, an energy spike 400 times stronger than any previously detected from 3I/ATLAS. For 4.2 seconds, all instruments went blind. When the systems rebooted, the object had shifted again, now 0.02 astronomical units closer. At first, analysts thought it was coincidence, but the timing was too precise. The burst occurred exactly as Webb's instruments focused on its core. It had reacted, as if it knew it was being watched. Religious movements declared it an omen. Ancient prophecy enthusiasts drew links to the Book of Enoch and the sons of God returning from the heavens. Some claimed this was the awakening of the celestial guardians, long described in forgotten Mesopotamian lore. The governments of the world could no longer contain the truth. In a rare joint broadcast, the UN Secretary General addressed humanity. We have confirmed that 3I/ATLAS is under intelligent control. We do not know who or what controls it, but we are preparing for contact. As tensions rose, James Webb transmitted its most detailed image yet. Beneath the icy crust, the sensors revealed hexagonal voids, cavities arranged with impossible symmetry. Inside them, faint thermal fluctuations hinted at internal mechanisms. "It's a structure," said Dr. Huang Li, "an engineered one." The statement shattered what remained of scientific restraint. This wasn't an asteroid, it was a vessel. For days, the world stood still. 3IATLAS continued to glide silently toward the blue planet, emitting soft rhythmic pulses. Nations prepared for the unthinkable. Some scientists argued it was seeking communication, others warned of an imminent threat. By now, Webb's sensors registered stability. The object's speed had synchronized perfectly with Earth's orbit. No longer approaching, no longer retreating, it was pacing us, as if studying. Then came the final transmission, a narrow-band frequency unlike any before, directed precisely toward Earth. All global observatories caught it simultaneously. The signal pierced through the ionosphere, directly into NASA's Deep Space Network. In the control room, as the signal decoded, the first visual representation appeared, a set of coordinates, followed by a pattern resembling a human double helix, intertwined with symbols of ancient origin. The final code blinked in sequence, 3-1-A. The feed went dark. Then a faint sound filled the speakers. It wasn't noise, it was a voice, modulated, mechanical yet eerily familiar. The message repeated in an ancient cadence. The seed returns to the soil. And then silence. Every nation on Earth froze as the realization sank in. 3I/ATLAS wasn't coming to destroy, it was coming home. As the world stared upward, 3I/ATLAS shimmered faintly in the night sky, a lone star moving against the backdrop of eternity. The James Webb Telescope, its mirrors trembling from the faint vibration of the signal, recorded the moment humanity crossed the threshold, from observing the universe to being observed. No one spoke, no one breathed, and somewhere, deep in the cosmos, something ancient had awakened. For the first time in history, Earth was not alone, and the stars, once silent, had finally begun to answer back. The night following the first contact with 3I/ATLAS was unlike anything humanity had experienced. Cities remained lit, but an eerie hush hung over streets worldwide. Social media, though frenzied, felt muted, as if even the internet itself paused to absorb the magnitude of what had occurred. Astronomers on every continent adjusted their telescopes, not in search of discovery, but in preparation for understanding. Amid the chaos, Dr. Norwood and Dr. Huang convened a joint session via secure quantum link. The question on everyone's mind was simple, yet terrifying. Why had 3I/ATLAS changed course toward Earth? And more importantly, what did the cryptic message mean? The phrase, "the seed returns to the soil," it's symbolic, Dr. Huang speculated, scanning through ancient Mesopotamian texts and Sumerian tablets. Seed, soil, growth. Perhaps it's a warning, or an invitation, or both. Dr. Norwood's voice trembled as she countered, or it could be literal, a genetic or biological reference, something on Earth that it recognizes, or expects us to recognize. Meanwhile, global defense forces entered an unprecedented state of alert. Nuclear silos were opened, missile defense grids tested, and orbital interceptors went on standby. Not because anyone believed 3I/ATLAS intended harm, but because humanity had never faced a moving, intelligent object of interstellar origin before. In secret laboratories, teams of AI specialists and cryptographers attempted to translate the signal further. Using fractal mathematics and tensor analysis, they discovered a pattern embedded within the pulse sequences, essentially a three-dimensional map of the solar system, with Earth highlighted. Beyond that, coordinates pointed toward the asteroid belt, and then farther, toward a region beyond Pluto's orbit. The implications were staggering. Was this object charting a path to pick up something from Earth? Was it returning something already left behind? Or was it a message of location, an instruction for humanity to follow? In the public sphere, the panic escalated. Millions reported seeing strange lights in the night sky, which were later confirmed as optical effects caused by sunlight refracting off 3I/ATLAS's unusual surface. Religious leaders issued statements calling for global prayer, scientists urged caution, and conspiracy theorists claimed the end of the world was imminent. Across every network, the media amplified fear. Yet, in the quiet of research facilities, a growing sense of wonder began to take hold. Humanity was witnessing the first incontrovertible sign that life, or at least intelligence, existed beyond Earth, and it was interacting with our planet directly. As days passed, Webb's telescope continued to capture unprecedented data. Thermal imaging revealed internal shifts, movements suggestive of mechanical operation or an internal energy source fluctuating in a deliberate pattern. Infrared spectra indicated concentrations of unknown elements not typically found in meteoritic matter, hinting at advanced construction or alien metallurgy. Dr. Ricci of ESA suggested we might be looking at a vessel capable of self-repair or adaptation. Its materials could change structure based on environmental conditions. That explains the apparent energy pulses and course adjustments. This realization prompted a new line of thinking. If 3I/ATLAS was capable of manipulation and response, it might be able to anticipate Earth's actions. Any attempt at direct interception could trigger unknown reactions. Humanity's only viable option was observation and communication. SETI's global stations intensified their efforts. Using the pulse sequences, they began transmitting low-frequency countersignals, carefully crafted mathematical and geometric patterns to test for response. The results were immediate. 3I/ATLAS altered its spin and adjusted trajectory minutely, effectively acknowledging the message. World leaders now faced a historic dilemma: how to balance military preparedness with open communication. The UN convened an emergency session, broadcasting live debates. Some argued for a defensive posture, citing the unknown capabilities of the object. Others advocated for scientific engagement, pointing out that 3I/ATLAS had not displayed aggression. At the same time, Webb's sensors captured a startling event. Small, semi-transparent fragments separated from the main body and formed a lattice around it, orbiting in precise synchronization. Spectral analysis suggested these fragments contained organic compounds, possibly a hybrid of biological and mechanical elements. Theoretical physicists proposed a radical hypothesis. 3I/ATLAS could be a bioengineered probe, a seed vessel designed to deliver genetic material, knowledge, or technology across interstellar distances. If true, this would rewrite humanity's understanding of evolution, technology, and the cosmos itself. Dr. Norwood and Dr. Wang began collaborating on a global alert system for these anomalies. They theorized that if 3I/ATLAS had observers or intelligence on board, every signal transmitted would be monitored and potentially responded to. Humanity had entered a cosmic dialogue. Meanwhile, ground teams in Iraq, revisiting the Gilgamesh excavation sites, observed an unusual alignment between ancient monuments and the path of 3I/ATLAS. Researchers noted that the star maps etched in stone corresponded almost exactly with the object's approach vector, reinforcing ancient texts about returning watchers. Speculation among the public reached fever pitch. Philosophers debated humanity's place in the universe, while artists depicted the interstellar visitor as both threatening and divine. Economies fluctuated due to panic-induced trading, and global forums became flooded with demands for transparency. In orbit, Webb continued its watchful gaze. Each observation revealed new data: thermal anomalies pulsing with rhythmic regularity, internal movements indicating structural compartments, and subtle changes in surface albedo as if responding to Earth's presence. Simultaneously, private aerospace companies launched observation satellites equipped with spectrographic scanners, creating a distributed mesh to ensure 24-hour surveillance. The global collaboration was unprecedented. Scientists and engineers from dozens of countries shared live telemetry, making it the most cooperative space endeavor in history. By the fourth week, the pulse sequences evolved further. SETI's team noted the addition of harmonic layers, higher frequency signals embedded in the primary pulses. When analyzed mathematically, these harmonics mirrored natural planetary resonance frequencies. 3I/ATLAS seemed to be attuning itself to Earth itself. Meanwhile, Dr. Ricci developed a new model. The object wasn't just moving with intent, it appeared to be timing its approach with Earth's orbit, magnetosphere, and rotation. Every maneuver was deliberate, suggesting a strategy beyond mere proximity. It was approaching with precision timing, perhaps even predicting Earth's gravitational response. Public unrest was escalating as well. Social media networks exploded with speculation, some claiming contact would bring salvation, others predicting extinction. Governments struggled to maintain order, while the UN attempted to provide measured updates. Back in research labs, discussions turned to potential communication methods. Using the harmonics detected by Webb, teams began crafting sequences that mirrored three I/ATLAS's signal patterns, essentially speaking in the object's own language of resonance. The first attempts were small, cautious pulses, mathematical sequences, primes, Fibonacci ratios. Within hours, Webb recorded a reaction. The object rotated slightly, altering its trajectory minutely, but undeniably in response to the transmitted sequences. Humanity had, for the first time, provoked a measurable interaction with an interstellar intelligence. As scientists marveled, military analysts considered the implications. Could 3 I/ATLAS detect Earth's technological signature? Could it interpret our intentions? The line between exploration and threat assessment blurred entirely. Dr. Huang's team proposed a provocative theory. 3 I/ATLAS was not just visiting, it was assessing. Its pulses, movements, and adjustments were a survey of Earth's biology, technology, and civilization. The message, "the seed returns to the soil," could be a test, a warning, or an invitation to prepare for a transformative encounter. At the same time, Webb's infrared scans revealed faint luminescent trails emanating from the object's internal cavities. The trails weren't random. They formed patterns resembling organic veins, linking compartments in a network of unknown purpose. The resemblance to neural pathways sparked debates. Could this object possess some form of consciousness? The global scientific community became increasingly unified. Conferences, previously planned for years ahead, were convened immediately. Papers were shared in real time, and AI-driven analysis accelerated understanding. Humanity had become a single observational entity. As the weeks passed, 3 I/ATLAS maintained its parallel course with Earth, neither accelerating toward nor retreating from the planet. Its rhythmic pulses continued, increasing in complexity. SETI teams and mathematicians worked day and night to decode the next layer, discovering sequences that hinted at fundamental constants, universal geometry, and perhaps even instructions. Ancient connections resurfaced. The Mesopotamian alignment, the Gilgamesh sites, and the seed references now appeared as more than coincidence. Scholars speculated that humanity had, long ago, been visited or observed by similar entities, leaving behind markers for future recognition. Public curiosity became obsession. Amateur astronomers documented the object nightly, schools integrated observations into curricula, and artists across the globe began interpreting 3 I/ATLAS's patterns into music, visual art, and performance. Humanity's collective focus was centered on a single cosmic visitor. Then, Webb recorded a subtle but distinct change, an internal movement within 3 I/ATLAS that suggested compartment activation. Thermal readings indicated rising energy levels. Scientists feared the object might be preparing to initiate the next phase of contact or deployment. Dr. Norwood cautioned, "We need to understand its intentions before we assume they're benign. Intelligence at this scale is beyond our comprehension. It may view us as insignificant, or it may be here to reshape life on Earth itself." By now, the world operated on 3 I/ATLAS time. Coordinated observation, pulse response tests, and signal translation had become the center of human activity. Daily life had adapted to the cosmic presence, blending fear with fascination. Finally, James Webb's deep space spectrograph captured the most profound revelation yet. Within 3 I/ATLAS, structural cavities glowed intermittently with what appeared to be biological luminescence. It was as if something alive, or semi-alive, was monitoring the outer environment. Communication attempts intensified. Using harmonic sequences, scientists transmitted more complex patterns, incorporating geometry, mathematical constants, and symbolic logic. Webb recorded minute responses, rotations, surface shifts, and rhythmic pulses, confirming interaction. As the months progressed, it became clear that 3 I/ATLAS was not merely passing through. It had parked itself in Earth's observational window, synchronizing its presence with our technological and biological signals. Humanity was being assessed, studied, and perhaps, for the first time, invited into a broader cosmic dialogue. In the control rooms, tension and awe intertwined. The final countdown to its closest approach loomed, yet no one feared impact. The fear had been replaced with anticipation, a profound recognition that Earth was now a participant in a cosmic event spanning millennia. Then, one night, the pulses simplified. Webb's sensors recorded an unbroken, continuous tone, a bridge of signal directly aligned with Earth's equator. The message was clear. 3I/ATLAS had achieved a connection. Dr. Huang whispered to Dr. Norwood, "It's listening and waiting. The seed is ready." From every continent, humanity looked up. For the first time, the sky was not merely a canvas of distant stars. It was alive with communication, purpose, and intent. 3I/ATLAS had arrived, not to strike, but to awaken a new chapter in human history. And as the final pulse sequences decoded into discernible patterns on NASA's main screens, the message was unmistakable. Humanity had been invited to engage, to learn, and perhaps to join a legacy older than civilization itself. The world held its breath. 3I/ATLAS hovered silently in the vast darkness, its glow faint yet undeniable. And somewhere within its frozen, engineered depths, the watchers waited patiently, as they always had, for the moment Earth would finally answer.